Righteous, righteous. What's happening? What's happening out there? Hello, hello, hello. Peace in. Welcome to another episode of On the Cutting Room Floor. I'm your host, Tony Ray Harvey. And yes, we are broadcasting, podcasting, whatever you want to call it, from the southwest part of Sacramento in the Greenhaven pocket area, right out of Black Magic Inc. Studios. So here we talk about the Sacramento Kings and other sports that's going on around the world. Let's jump right into it. Trailing the Sacramento Kings 97-90 with 6 minutes and 37 seconds left to play in the fourth quarter, the Oklahoma City Thunder went on a 17-4 run, including 3 straight three-pointers for the finisher to win the game 107-104. Zac LaVine had 23 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, while DeMar DeRozan added 19 points, 3 assists, and 2 steals for the Kings, who are now 1-3 on the season. And they are on their first leg of their 4-game road trip. So they will be in Chicago at the United Center on October 29th to face a really hot Bulls team. I think they are now 3-0 or 4-0, something to that effect. I hope that I can get more information on that before we sign off tonight. But it should be a really good match because it is the return of Zac LaVine, who spent 7-8 season there before he was traded to the Kings back here in February. So, hey, Russell Westbrook, he had 16 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists in 30 minutes. Domantas Sabonis had 10 points, 18 rebounds? We have to check on that again. What did Domantas Sabonis have on? I don't want to give y'all the wrong information on that because these things right here has been a little bit of an issue, at least coming from me. So we want to make sure this box score is not coming up here. This box score is not coming up there. So I want to say that he had 18 rebounds. We have to check on that. But I'm saying 10 points. I'm saying right now, Domantas Sabonis had 10 points, 18 rebounds, and 3 assists, and Keon Ellis had 12 points off the bench for the Kings. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 31 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 block shots for the NBA champions. A.J. Mitchell and Aaron Wiggins had 18 points apiece, while Isaiah Hartenstein scored 4 points, and he did pull down 14 rebounds in this win. Now, just trying to get to that box score again, and traditionally this thing is not really taking me there, but we're trying our best to get there. So let's see what we have here as far as what that box score is. Okay. Yes, Domantas Sabonis did have 18 rebounds, and he had 12 on the defensive end and 6 on the offensive end. So that's not pretty bad. He did that in 35 minutes. Just want to get that straightened out here. Now, so we won't waste too much more of your time. The Kings have been playing well. I know that game here in Sacramento with the Los Angeles Lakers, the 46 free throw attempts by the Lakers, 21-22 by Austin Reeves, really put a damper on things. But this team is really playing well. I do feel that they are playing well. I think I haven't mentioned this before. They're just taking those little bitty baby steps. But as head coach, Sacramento Kings head coach Doug Christie said, they're going to have to learn how to close out. That's the only thing, because they led for a majority of this game. They really did well. They led at halftime. What did the halftime score? I think they was up by like 4 points at halftime. Yes, they was up 62-58, and they ended up losing the game 107-101, 101. But they're playing basketball. They are playing basketball. But what I'm seeing right now, and this looks like this is going to be the trend until they can make some personnel changes in terms of trades, the small ball is in. Small ball is in. Because I would say about 75% of the time that they're playing basketball out there, they have at least players 6'6", 6'5", 6'3", 6'4", on down the line, surrounded by Domantas Sabonis. Now, sparingly, they've been using Dylan Cardwell and Dario Saric and Drew Eubanks, but they really sticking with this core of players. Russell Westbrook did start tonight. He did start tonight. And if I mention again, he had 16 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists. He had 18 points off the bench in the game against the Lakers, which I know he was really trying to win because I don't believe he have a lot of love for that organization right now. But anyway, he did start tonight against his former team, actually the team that drafted him. He was drafted by the Seattle Supersonics before they ended up moving to the Midwest to Oklahoma City and Oklahoma. So he spent quite a amount of time, living in that area before, he done bounced around for the last 6 years, 6 different teams, including the Sacramento Kings. But I am seeing some progress in this team. That's the second straight loss, the second loss on the road because they did lose to Phoenix the first game of the season, and they went 1-1. They went 1-1 at home because they were able to beat the Utah Jazz. So yes, they are 1-3 on the season, but it's gonna be tough. It's going to be tough for them, at least until they can get Keegan Murray back, and that's really going to be a key. And it's going to take them a little while to get back into it anyway. And I think I already mentioned this before. We're talking about another 2 or 3 weeks, or maybe the end of November before we see any type of action out of Keegan Murray, who did sign a 5-year, $140 million contract right before the season started. And I'm sure he'll be ready to go, and he should be able to help the team, get some wins. But right now, that's just all talk here. Really good game tonight. It really was. They have been playing some really good games. They were in it against the Lakers. They had a chance to win that game. They had a chance to win tonight. They had a chance to win. Who did they play? They had a chance to beat the Phoenix Suns on the road, which they did not do. But just like Christie said, and I'll just give you a little snippet of what he said. We got to come up with the rebounds. We have to get stops, conversions on a high level. We probably should be a 4-0 team, but we're not ready to be a 4-0 team, quote unquote, Doug Christie. Okay, and we got to look into the mirror at that, because 4-0 means all the little things I just said it gets handled when it's winning time. So that's what he said after the game, and that was pretty substantial. And he's learning, and they're learning, and that's the way they're gonna get. But it's not about learning how to. It is learning how to play basketball. It's learning how to win, and that's where they are right now. They know how to play basketball. Don't get me wrong. No one's making it to the NBA without learning how to basketball. That goes without saying. But it's the learning how to win. So they get into these baby steps, and they've been in some really close games. In all 4 games, if you ask me, it's just the matter of fact, can you deliver towards the end of the game? All right? Can you close it out? And I'm sure what Doug Christie, head coach Doug Christie, is talking about is defense. And they played some good defense tonight. I have to give it up. I know there's been a lot of talk about, what Zac LaVine been doing on the defensive end. Hey, okay, keep it going. Sustain it. Your team needs that. Everybody's buying into that. You're going to have to play defense on this team. You're going to have to play defense for Doug Christie. You have to play defense for the fans, because that's what's going to win these games. And defense will lead to these closures, and you will come out on the other end. And I'm talking about a W. I am talking about a W. But I've been seeing some really good things about that. Yeah, Russell Westbrook, he gets to start tonight. He makes his first 3 triples. Not only he's facing his own team, the organization that drafted him. I'm sure, with the rebounding, he's not going to make a lot of fouls. And it is OKC. He should start. But he's playing well. I know, pretty interesting. I think I already talked about this too. And Russell is really a reserved person. And what I mean by that, he's all business. He is all business. before the game, before the tip off, at least at home at Golden One Center, you walk into the locker room, he's sitting there, he's watching the opposing team play the team that they played before they came to Sacramento. That could have been, the Lakers or Utah, just sitting there figuring it out. I know he's sitting there, you got his earbuds in and just trying to sort everything out, seeing what they do. He kind of like breaking it down within himself, without any coaching staff, without any his teammates or anybody. It's just him. He's pretty much isolated, and I dare to interrupt that because it seemed like it's a synergy or a rhythm, a spirit that has him in that comfortability. And I'm not kidding. I just look from afar. We try to talk to the other players whenever, just checking to see what things out. But that man is serious about his craft. That man is serious about winning. And I am talking about Russell Westbrook. And at this point, with Keegan being out and Nick Clifford, we should be seeing him soon. I think he's coming up for another evaluation. He should be hopefully somewhere, coming in on this road trip. If not, we'll catch him when he play the Golden State Warriors here on November 5th. Russell is a necessity right now. I'm just saying, okay? They're not winning right now. Okay, they only won 25% of their games. Okay, all right, I got that. But without him, all right, and it's good to know that you can slot him in the starting five, which you was talk about that, for the past couple of days. You can slot him in the starting five or have him come off the bench, because it works both ways with the starting five, or if he's coming off the bench with Keon and Malik Monk. Malik Monk is having a fabulous start. It kind of works. So right now it's a necessity. I don't give a hoot about what anybody says about him, about his 17 years of playing or some of the stuff that he does that doesn't look right to you or whatever like that. He's trying to win ball games. He's trying to help his team win. It might look out of sorts, but he's trying to get it done. And I'm going to tell you right now, with him and some other key players, if this doesn't happen, these games will not be close. Came in and hit 3 straight threes, for himself. For the team. What I'm talking about, for himself. For the team to get off. Okay, and he finished with 16 points on the night. Cool. Keon came off the bench and did excellent. He had 12 points, too. Hit a couple big baskets. He didn't get into those foul troubles, all right, that he did, against the Lakers, because he didn't play that much. He did start that game, all right, but I really do think things are coming around. Devin Carter, he got to play. Now, in that second quarter, the Kings went into a zone, and Devin Carter was part of that. And who was out there? It was Devin Carter, Russell Westbrook, Malik Monk, DeRozan, and Sabonis. That was the first part of the zone. They kind of changed it up too, and then Zac came in at some point. They didn't stay into the zone that many times, but hey, it's coming together. And another thing that I also saw too, that I'm sure if you're a Sacramento spectator fan, you was observing too. In one of the timeouts, when they all came to the bench, all right, they're all dapping each other up, fist bumping, whether it's the players on the bench or the starters, they're acknowledging that everybody's on the same page. We got to stay together to win this war. Win those battles and convert it into a war. Boom. We come out victorious. I like that. And I'm seeing, first who was starting it off with DeMar DeRozan. Okay. And then it became contagious after that. The next, Russell Westbrook, they just dapping, fist bumping. Boom. Okay. We good. We're brothers. We're family. Let's go. That was during one of the timeouts. So I'm looking at their physical presence together out on the floor and in those huddles and during timeouts. They're all connected. That's why they are in these games. That is why they are in these games. And that is essential for this culture that they're trying to build. Essential. I'm understanding that. And I said this before the season. I said this towards the end of the last season, hoping that Doug Christie would get this head coaching job permanently, which he did. He is the main factor. He is the main factor. And you blend that in with the coaching staff, you got something going here. You got something going here. Now, I'm not going to say they're going to win a lot of games. I hope they do. I really do hope that they do, folks. I really hope that they win a lot of games. Don't get me wrong, okay? You got, 78 more games. 78 more games. They can win 70 of them, yeah. But the way they are trying to pull this together, we knew this wasn't going to be an overnight type of thing. Never is, especially, with this organization, because this team has been through so much, and it continues to go through here. They got to turn the corner at some point. All right, they still do need a couple more post players that could be serviceable, as the season goes along. Whether that happens, that power, that authority, that lies with General Manager Scott Perry. Now, if I come back here tomorrow night and they lost big, I'm not going to blame it because it's a back-to-back or anything like this. These are professionals. They know where they are, okay? They don't have to travel that far, okay? Oklahoma City is hop, skip, and jump from Chicago, Illinois. And you're still in the same time zone, to be exact. Just 2 hours. We see they're 2 hours ahead of us. Yes. Yeah, the game started at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I think it'll start at 5 o'clock tomorrow as well. So you don't have to worry about that wiggle room. Just get you plenty of rest. All right. Get up, look at some film, see where you at, get some good breakfast, look at some film, and get to work. Shoot around if there is, and get to work. Probably be a little chilly in Chicago around this time. It is close to November, and it gets a little bit chilly around this time. Not cold, but it does get chilly. Yeah, Sacramento Kings, they lose to the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight, 107-101. They were up about 97-90, close to midway through the fourth quarter, and then Oklahoma City Thunder caught fire, pulled it out with a 17-4 run. Pulled it out. So the Kings only scored four points in the last 6.5 minutes. 4 points in the last 6.5 minutes. Got to figure that out. If you're going to close these games out, got to get those stops. If you got to figure this out, figure it out. And they got enough on that bench to do that, on that roster rather, with DeRozan, LaVine, and Westbrook. You can get this thing done, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be talking about it too. Got to close these games out. Close them out. Yes. So, let's just go in here. Okay. There were some really good points in this game. Let's see. As I said, Westbrook, he did start against his former team. He made 3 triples in the first quarter. After DeRozan made a bucket before the sound of the buzzer, the Kings led 29-24 to begin the second frame. So it was 29-24 after 12 minutes. The Kings went on an 11-0 run, completed by a basket at the 8:28 tick to give the Kings a 2-point margin, followed by Devin Carter's free throws that gave Sacramento a 42-32 lead in the second quarter. So, Wallace triple with 30 seconds left cut the Kings' lead 60-58, but DeRozan responded with a 20-foot jumper on the next possession to put the Kings up by 4 points at halftime. They led 62-58 at halftime. At the half, the Kings made 23 of 42 shots from the field, 56.1%, 6 of 14 from three-point land, 42.9% in three-point territory, and they made all 10 of the free throws. And as I said before, they finished the game 19-21 from the charity strike. Okay. In the third quarter. Third quarter was a game of runs. The Thunder went on an 8-0 run to take the lead, 71-70 on 2 free throws by Lou Dortz. The Kings responded with a 11-0 mark, 11-0 track meet that is, that led to an 81-71 margin after a 20-foot basket by Dennis Schrader at the 4:11 mark. All right, and then they held on to an 83-80 lead to end the third quarter. But before that, the Thunder did go on a 9-0 run. That's why they closed it into, I think they were down, 81-80. They were down by 1 point, 81-80. But the Kings were able to hold on to 83-80 to close out the third quarter. And then the fourth quarter started. As I told you, when it got to that 97-90 mark, the champions came through. So, folks, I want to thank y'all for stopping in. Another episode of On the Cutting Room Floor. We're getting early in the season. This is my second episode of the 2025-2026 season. I usually do these podcasts right after the road trips. Kind of hard to do it, during the home games because I'm doing like 2 or 3 different things at those games. Sometimes I might be coming from a political event here in Sacramento. Things have slowed down a little bit and will be until January the 5th. But, that's my day job. That's what I have to do. But I do want to thank you for stopping in and listening to these commentaries and updates and recap of the games. I really do appreciate that. I will be back tomorrow after the Chicago Bulls game, and we'll see what they do there. Hopefully, the Kings will come up with a win. But this is all on you, folks. This is all on you. So if you can, if this is your first time, hit that subscribe button. If this is your first time, hit that like button. And if you've been here a few times, hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. I don't care if it's 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, 200 people who tune in. I appreciate your time. I do appreciate your time. In the meantime, once again, you have a blessed evening. This is Tony Harvey, your host for On the Cutting Room Floor. We are signing out. Peace.